My name is Brooke Whitmore, and I am doing a presentation over Internet safety and fair use. What is Internet safety? Internet safety is maximizing the knowledge of the user's personal safety and security risks on private information while using the Internet, and the self-protection from computer crimes. Today, a lot of people wonder what kind of dangers are on the Internet. A few that I have found are cyberbullying, online scams, online predators, sexting, sharing too much information, and emails. Cyberbullying is when someone is threatening you online or harassing you. Many students today feel like they're being cyberbullied because it's easier to make somebody feel bad when they're behind a computer screen instead of saying something to their face. I was doing a research project, and in the research I found that 57% of students felt like they had been victims of cyberbullying. Another danger about internet usage is online scams. Online scams can range from phishing to somebody trying to trick you out of money, somebody trying to get your personal identity, identity theft, and so on. Today companies try to say, if you put this so much money into this, we'll give you this back, or if you try really hard in doing this for us, we'll do this for you, and it never works out. People get tons of money taken away from them year after year, day after day, just by falling into these online scams. Online predators. Online predators are people that are child molesters that can be online in chat rooms. A lot of kids today think that they're talking to somebody really cool and they feel really comfortable with them, and it turns out that that person that they're talking to isn't who they said they were. These online predators can be older men who are trying to find young kids, young boys, young girls, and can harass them sexually, and sometimes it even leads to kidnapping. Another thing about internet dangers today is sexting. It's a new term. It's where inappropriate text messages are sent through phones, emails, instant messages. It can be pictures, it can be conversations, dealing with sexual content, and it's a big problem today because it can lead to child pornography. Sharing too much information is a huge deal with kids today. We need to remind our kids not to share too much personal information. They shouldn't share their name, their last name, where they live, where they're from, what school they go to, what street they live on, or any type of information like that. Because people can get this information and then lead it into a identity theft, or they can come and find them, and this leads to online predators finding the children and kidnapping them or harassing them, and it's not good. Emails. Usually I wouldn't think that emails were such a problem, but today emails are. If you receive an email from someone you don't know, make sure you don't open this email. These type of emails can be full of viruses, or hackers try to get into these emails and get your personal information that way. Another type of information I want to share with you is, what is fair use? Fair use. Fair use is a law that limits one person from using another person's work as their own. In the United States copyright law, fair use is a document that permits limited use of copyrighted material without having to get permission from the original author. Things to avoid. Plagiarism. We all know today that plagiarism is a huge deal, and we have to make sure that we're not plagiarizing anybody else's work. We don't want anybody to plagiarize us, so we don't want to plagiarize them. We need to be careful of the things that we use, such as music, movies, and games. A lot of the problem today is people are not accurately sourcing their music that they provide on presentations such as this. They are putting movies into their presentations, they're putting movie clips, and they're not sourcing these types of informational projects. So it's turning into a big problem. Another thing that fair use needs to cover is inaccurate information. We want to avoid this. When doing a research project, you want to make sure that you're using accurate information and using it for informational purposes. Inaccurate information, you should never use Wikipedia. You should never use websites that don't have authors, that haven't ever been researched. And to do this, to make sure that these things do have these things, the resources at the bottom or the references page, so, at the end of the document should be a good indicator of how well the author was knowledgeable about the Alright, so what can we do? What can we do as teachers? As teachers, we can build awareness. Teachers should teach their students about all the dangers of using the internet, such as online predators, online bullying, and sexting. Make sure the students know these dangers are aware of who to contact if they come into contact with something like this. Appropriate use. Appropriate use is when teachers need to talk about how to appropriately do research on the internet when doing school assignments. Let the students know why plagiarism is bad and what could happen if they get caught taking someone else's work and citing it as their own. Online resources. Students need to know that not all online resources are factual. When resourcing from scholarly articles, students need to make sure that the article comes from an expert on the subject, that the article has all factual information and is useful to their project. When using resources from the internet, to be sure to make the references of where they were found and who it was by. Another thing teachers should do is set boundaries. By setting boundaries, it will help when boundaries are made for students' internet and technology use. It helps by giving everyone a more positive attitude. When a teacher sets specific boundaries of when technology can be used and how it should be used and what type can be used, the students will feel more comfortable and know what is expected of them as students. School-wide awareness campaign. I've never really heard of this, but I really like this idea. A school-wide awareness campaign is when each school should implement one of these. It's a written contract from the school stating the rules and regulations of the internet and technology use in the classroom. When the rules are posted right away and the students agree to the terms, things will flow more smoothly for everyone. For parents, parents need to remember to communicate with their child. Communicating with their child will help open the door and make sure that if their child is having a problem on the internet while using the internet, that they can come to them and talk to them as a friend, as somebody that they look up to, somebody that's going to help them. The good way to remember is communication is key. Parents need to know their children. By knowing their children, they can watch for when he or she is using the internet. If the parent feels like the child is doing something they shouldn't or is spending more time online than usual, talk to them and see what is going on. If you feel something's wrong, it's probably because there is. If your child is spending more time on the internet with their door closed and things don't seem to be going right, stop them and ask them and make sure everything's going okay, because this is when things go bad and the parents take a step back and don't really realize it. Some things that could be going on are the students are being cyberbullied. They could be getting addicted to the internet and things on the internet. They could be not just victims, but the bully themselves on cyberbullying. So we want to make sure that we watch those things. Um, Use the technology to your advantage. What I mean by this is get online and look at that history tab. See where your child's been. See what they've been doing online. Make sure that they're not in places where they shouldn't. That they're on, if they're on Facebook, look and see what their pictures are like. Make sure that they don't have any inappropriate things on their Facebook page, because these things can always come back and bite them in the butt later. Know the terms. Kids today have their own language. We all know that. Make sure when talking to your kids, you know what they're talking about. Sexting is a huge problem today, and not very many people know what the terms mean. Sexting, like I said earlier, is when explicit material is sent through emails, chat rooms, texting, and other forms of technology and communication. Be aware. Parents need to be aware and know about the possible dangers their child can be exposed to when on the internet. Knowing the warning signs your child may show when they are being harassed online. Don't jump to conclusions and think that it's their entire fault for something going wrong on the internet. Be open to what they have to say and make sure you're there to help them with whatever sort of problem that they're in. By doing this, it'll make sure that they have somebody safe to go to. A lot of the problems today is that kids are online and they think it's just a fun tool and it's a form of entertainment. What they don't realize is that it's very important to use the internet correctly by not sharing too much information, not getting into situations that they don't feel comfortable in, and if they're being harassed by a cyberbully or an online predator, that they find somebody that they can talk to and they feel comfortable with. By doing all these things that I've talked about in this presentation, I feel like the appropriate use of internet and safety will be provided in schools around the area. This is my reference page, and that is all I have. Thanks for watching.